Welcome to the Maureen Pound Show, where I get extraordinary insights from cool business people. So today I'm going to be speaking with Bart Wolkowski from Red Wolf and Roche, and he's going to be talking about an amazing project that he started involving laptops. So without any further ado, we're going to be welcoming Bart. Hey, Bart.
Hey, Maureen, how are you?
Yeah, good. I always like to start the show with getting you to tell me something that's quirky or interesting about you so people can get a feel for what you're about as a person.
Okay. Well, one thing, I was looking at my ceiling. I'm not sure if it's the best ceiling in the world, but it's definitely up there. That's a joke.
What makes it so good, Bart?
No, well, that's kind of a dad joke. So, the ceiling is up there. Yeah.
Right.
So I'm terrible at jokes, so I thought I'd share that with you, definitely. Another quirky thing, I guess maybe not so quirky, but yeah, I used to be a chef before recruitment many, many years ago. So I'm still very passionate foodie and actually plant-based now for over a year and loving it. So I guess that's sort of a thing that people may or may not know. So yeah, I'm flying the vegan flag.
Yeah, go you. Now, today we're going to be talking about. Sorry?
I just said go planet Earth.
Okay. So today we're going to be talking about 1,000 repurposed laptops. So Bart and I were having a conversation the other day, and it was just an impromptu conversation. I'd rung Bart to sort of just chat about VAs, and we ended up manoeuvring in this conversation to a conversation about laptops, and we came up with a figure of 1,000 laptops. I was really excited about Bart's initiative, and I really wanted to share it with everyone today because I think that it's an amazing thing to do and an opportunity for many people as well. So, Bart, do you want to share a little bit about where your idea came from?
Yeah, sure. So it's sort of been bubbling away for a little while. I mean, we're in business, all of us, and obviously, we've got to pay the bills and try and make a profit and whatnot. But for a long time, we're part of we're part of the world, right? We're part of more than just their everyday business. And I thought, it's we need to do something, because the planet needs a help, and we all kind of need to. I think, especially this year, when the whole come together and we're all in this together, it just made me think more and more as like, okay, we're not all in this together just in Melbourne or just in one country, but we're really all in this together on the planet. And having a business and doing business is great, and I absolutely love what I do and love the people that we work with. But there's also a point where you think, okay, well, I want to try and give back and help some other people as well. And so we thought, well, we want to do something that's in technology. Obviously, we're in technology recruitment, so we want to contribute, not by doing food or just donating things, which we do, and that's great. But how can we realistically make a difference to some people somewhere in the world that's going to be positive? And how can we bring our community together, which is the tech and digital community, to help us do this? So we're all sort of pitching in on a mission together. And so I was traveling to Bali quite a lot last year, and one of our clients, he had a brilliant initiative, and we went there to like an orphanage, and we saw, because you go to Bali, for those that have been, and it's all touristy and villas and beaches and amazing food and all of that stuff, which is great. But there's also, the people in Bali and the Balinese who are behind all that. And, there's like children that are orphans that, so we went and did some work there and just did some donations, just spent a day at this orphanage. And I was just really opened my eyes to say, you know what, there's this whole other world that we never see as tourists or as people, even living in Australia. We go there, we spend time there, and we forget about people. And those people are still people. And so that opened my eyes. And then, I just thought, hey, this is probably something that we can do. And, I thought about what can we do for a while. And then we've got a couple of Filipinos working with us on the team in Melbourne. And, we love them. They're amazing. And, I've got Filipino friends and whatnot. And so we just thought, hey, and I think somehow it came into my awareness that, this whole, especially this year, that people were not able to actually learn remotely. So obviously there's some big lockdowns happening everywhere. And we were quite lucky in Australia, even though in Melbourne it was a bit onerous for a while and everyone was complaining, fair call. But that's nothing compared to what was going on in the Philippines, where not only did students not have laptops, I mean, I've got images that that you see like a student with a little mobile phone, if they're lucky, perched up, like tied to a stick, that they're just kind of trying to do online learning in on a stick on a mobile phone. Like that kind of thing is just not very, it's just so hard for them. And not only that, but the teachers actually didn't have laptops. So the teachers couldn't teach their students, let alone students learn. And so we thought, well, we need to help people in this way, because education is so important, and especially in technology and digital and the online things that we do. That's where the world is moving to more and more. And these kids are going to be left behind more, like further and further, which then has all these impacts of poverty, and potentially, abuse and all of these other things. So we're like, okay, well, how can we make a little bit of a difference in just a small way? Like, we're still quite a small business, but we've got a big community. And so we thought, well, let's have a goal. And thanks to you as well. Like, I thought, how many laptops? Like, what's a reasonable amount of laptops? And we chatted yesterday and we're like, well, let's see if we can do 1,000, 1,000. And the thing is, they're not new laptops. We don't want to give people new ones. We want to give people our refurbished ones. So our older laptops. So, there's people who want to upgrade, and businesses especially have these upgrade cycles every few years. What do they do with their old ones? Maybe they trash them, or maybe they give them away, or maybe they do something with them. So we're like, well, how about you guys donate some of them to this, to these places in the Philippines? And, thanks to yourself and, the other contacts, we know that they're actually going to go to the people that really need them. And it's not a huge thing, like, giving your old laptop. We've already given a couple to the Balinese kids, and we're like, you know what, this feels so good. Like, we can upgrade our laptops, but we know that that's making such a big difference to somebody that would never have that opportunity before. And it kind of feels good. It makes, I don't know, it's just, there's just this whole thing where you're not just doing business for you, or it stops being about you, it starts being about others. And that change in mindset, it just makes your work more rewarding somehow, or it makes conversations better, and it brings people together. So I think it's just a more rewarding way of working.
Yeah, so, excellent. Yeah. And just on that, so for instance, I was having trouble with a laptop. I had to get it fixed, and then someone said, "Oh, my old boyfriend's got one. He gave it to me, and I don't need it. You can use it." And I used it for a little while, and it was fine. It was a good laptop. And then mine got fixed, and it's sitting in the corner of my office. So right. I think, a lot of people out there probably listening today or watching may have laptops that are just sitting around, that, a couple of years old. And for me as well, I think I've actually got another one even older. I'm like, well, I don't even know what to do with it. I don't think I can just put it in the recycling or the garbage. I think there's some sort of rules around it anyway. So what I love, obviously I love about it, that you're going to be sending them over to the Philippines, to the schools to support them. But also you're helping, business owners do some good. But tell us a little bit about this whole idea of them being refurbished.
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, obviously we've got to make sure that there's the process that we follow. So people might have sensitive data on laptops, often they do, and they want to be secure in the knowledge that data is not going to get into the wrong hands. So we have the logistical issues that we're trying to solve are like, what operating system are we going to use? Because obviously over there, they can't pay for licenses, but we want them to have a working, functioning laptop. So what we've sort of decided on and landed on is some partnerships with that we're establishing with Red Hat Linux and Australia Post. So and what that means is that when you send your laptop to us, we also sign a form, or we send you an agreement to say, look, we agree that we're not going to look at any of this data. We will just delete the whole laptop, and we're going to install Red Hat Linux, a completely new operating system. And Linux, Ubuntu, or there's a couple of other distributions there. They're very good. They're very lean, so you can run them on older systems, and they can do all the basic things like word processing and web browsing and, you know, video calling. So you don't actually need the latest laptops. Like these days, the laptops that businesses are buying are almost over-engineered. You know, for like I have a laptop, you know, that's 5 years old that I probably will donate actually because it's time for an upgrade. But that was running fine. You know, and so I was able to do all the basic things and have 10, you know, browser tabs open and do video conferencing. So you don't actually need the latest laptops for these for these kids. So, but you do need to refurbish them and protect the data so that to ensure. So essentially the process is, you know, you send us your laptop, you know, we'll sign an agreement. So, you know, send us an email, we'll sign an agreement, give a form, say we promise to, like, here's our data privacy policy. Your data is safe. Essentially, no one's going to look at it. We don't even want your logins. We just want to completely wipe your laptop and then reinstall Linux on it. And then we're going to clean it up and then ship it off to in batches over there.
Yeah. And so I'm always there going, well, what might people be thinking? So in terms of Linux, you know, so when we send it over or you send it over, you're not going to need ongoing license fees or anything like that. What's in it for Linux to have something that's free like that?
So Red Hat, so obviously there's three main operating systems. There's Mac OS, Windows, and Linux. And you know, people probably outside of web may not know, but you know, like a lot of the web servers are running on Linux. So it's actually quite huge, but it's not very popular. So one of the ways that we can raise it, and it's actually an excellent option, you know, as an operating system. So I guess the partnership there is to help raise awareness amongst people and raise potentially market share or whatever it is amongst people like Red Hat, so Linux. So it will raise the awareness of Linux and Ubuntu, and, you know, potentially increase their market share. Even though the system's free, I think they charge for support or something like that. But it just gives people another option to say, hey, you know, here's a perfectly good operating system that is complete, feature complete, beautiful UI. You know, this is an option. So I think it doesn't cost, it wouldn't really cost them anything other than a bit of time. And, you know, we're obviously going to contribute our time and resources to it as well. And, you know, to do something good for a bunch of people. So, and, you know, the other great thing about it is that if those people, like, you know, those kids are growing up on Linux, then they might say, hey, I'm going to move into web development, or I'm just going to stay with Linux because it's great, you know. So, you know, they're potentially building users in a small way there as well. So I guess that's the benefit to them.
Yeah, okay, great. And so if people are thinking about sending their laptops to you, what's the best way to go about it?
So what we're going to do is we'll share a form. At the moment, you can just email us and say, hey, I've got a couple of laptops that you want. Then we're going to send you a form to fill in to say, you know, what laptop is it? And then what we're trying to do, and this is not ready, it's not, that's the email there. It's not sorted yet, but ideally what we want to do is have a reply paid with Australia Post to say, hey, look, Australia Post, if you want, hello, jump on board. And, you know, so people don't have to pay for the shipping, even though it only costs, I think, like $15 or $20, and I'm sure it's tax deductible and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, trying to reduce those costs at least. So then they ship it over, and then, you know, we go through the process of testing it, cleaning it, wiping it, preparing it to ship. So it's, and ideally what we want, and I'll chat with you as well, Maureen, is if we can send a photo and say, hey, here is where your laptop landed. So we'll tag the laptops and say, this laptop, and you have this smiling teacher or this smiling person, and you're like, that's where my laptop is. So, you know what I mean? And we can just share them or hashtag them or something, and just, that would be cool, I think.
Yeah. And then we can have a big party for everyone who donates.
Yes, so that's the other thing. So an outdoor party. So we're gonna, if you're in Melbourne, in Victoria, or you're allowed to come to Victoria, then we are gonna have a big. Once we've reached our 1,000, we're gonna have a big party to say thank you to everyone who donated. There'll be food, vegan friendly, and obviously non-vegan because I'm not a crazy vegan. Eat meat, go ahead. And yeah, so music and drinks and stuff like that, just to say, yeah, hey, let's celebrate being good humans.
Excellent, excellent. And so, Bart, what has driven this social conscience for you?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, good, yeah, good question. I think, look, yeah, like these days, you know, if you're in business, you gotta be aware of that you're part of a wider ecosystem, I guess. I mean, this is just my opinion. Maybe not everybody agrees. That's cool. But I mean, for me, like I was saying, yeah, like, you know, we are on this planet together, and, you know, like, you know, we do our work and we love it. But at the end of the day, we go home or we go out and we meet with friends and family and whatever. And, you know, we're all a community, like this global community. And I think that there's been a lot of, you know, in the past, like, you know, a lot of people maybe not caring enough. You know, there's been some incredible people and caring people as well. But, you know, like not many people or not enough people are caring about others, or, you know, giving a bit of love to others as well. And I just think that wouldn't it be incredible if you can be a profitable business, but also like do some good socially to give back. And I think it's just something like a personal value. And I know that the Red Wolf and Roche team, the Wolfpack as well, are very passionate about it, because we realize that we're not in a silo. Nobody's in a silo. Like, whether you know it or not, you depend on a bunch of people. Like every meal that you eat, there's probably like over 100 people involved in getting that to your plate, from the farmers to the truck drivers to the petroleum refinery to the people that make the tires that go on the trucks to the people that make your forks and plates. Like, everybody is connected, you know. And I think that, you know, if we can realize this and then, you know, contribute back to somebody else, then that contribution will create this like positive effect where people are contributing and to others. And, you know, there is not a selfish aspect, but you do actually feel good. Like, if you're maybe depressed or unhappy or you're stressful or whatever, there's a known psychological thing. And I'm not a psychologist, but I have read, you know, in books and stuff that there is a feel good hormone that gets released when you give to others. That's not why we're doing it, but I am aware, like, if people, you know, want to do something for others where there's literally no direct benefit to you, you feel great doing that. Like, you know, if you haven't tried it, just try it. Go help a stranger, go do something purely out of the kindness of your heart and see how that feels for you. And then you're like, oh, actually, that was kind of cool. I like that. So, you know, we're just trying to do like little things. You know, we're not like, it's only 1,000. You know, there's probably 10,000 people that need it, or 100,000 maybe. So we're trying to make just a little difference. But yeah, if I don't know, I just think it's really nice to inspire people to do those things and to be involved in something like that. And it also creates a relationship that's not just about work. Like, you know, you might find that, hey, we might put it out there and we might find that, hey, there's a bunch, is that somebody's Slack going? It's probably my Slack, I don't know, going nuts. If there's like a bunch of people, you realize that, hey, we've got a lot in common with these clients or these candidates, you know, in our industry, or these people that we work with, and we both care about these issues. And it just deepens the relationship where it doesn't become just about business. It becomes about shared values as well, and kind of brings people together a little bit and brings a community together. So, yeah, I mean, that's...
What I also love about what you're doing is you're not making it hard for people. So sometimes people go, oh, what, like it's all too big, or, you know, and then so we get put off because it feels too hard for us. But what I like about what you're doing is obviously you're coordinating it, and Red Wolf and Roche, you know, doing a lot of work, because it's, you know, you made it sound simple. It's like, oh yeah, we just strip the laptop. I know that it's time consuming and it takes expertise. So I really want to acknowledge you for that. But you know, you're really making it easy for others to contribute.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the key as well. I think that's the key to actually executing on this, because it's all really well and good to have an idea. But, you know, and that's great, but to execute on that idea is kind of the tricky part. So, and you have to work as well. Like we've all got jobs that we have to do. And in order to balance that, the thing that we want to do must be easy enough to actually do. So, you know, like everyone's busy. So everyone that's going to donate a laptop, we want them to be an easy thing, so that, you know, and we're happy to contribute our time. I don't mind, you know, spending a few weekends, like, you know, like reprogramming a bunch of laptops or reinstalling a bunch of, you know, systems and whatever, and having a party, maybe like a little pizza party, doing it and listening to music, whatever. That's cool. So if they're just little bite-sized achievable things, so it's really not hard. You know, just package it up, mail it in, and send, you know, fill in the form, and that's it. So it's very doable. Like it's not.
I've got another question for you, because again, it's just like, okay, just say someone has a laptop that you're going to wipe, but they're not IT experts, and they're like, oh, because my mind goes, maybe there's, because I'm a bit of a hoarder of these sorts of things, maybe things on it that I'm going to need, and I know I've been good, I've got most of it in the cloud, but you know, what's on my hard drive, I don't know. I don't want to lose those photos of my kids.
Yeah.
So what would you advise that they potentially do, or action they take before they send it off to you?
Okay, well, look, that's a good question, because there will be that. Even the laptop, you know, I've got one that I've had for years that I'm like, oh, there could be something on there. But the real thing is, have you touched that in 6 months? Have you actually opened that laptop in 6 months, in the last 6 months? If the answer is yes, then you should probably back it up. Like get a hard drive, you know, Officeworks, and you can get one anywhere for probably like a terabyte for, you know, around $50 or $60, right? They're so cheap these days. And, you know, you can back up 4 laptops with that. So, but if you haven't touched it for more than a year, then are you really going to touch it again, ever? Like really? You know, unless you become nostalgic one day in 50 years or 20 years, and you're like, oh, I want to open this laptop and see if there's any kids' photos. But if you haven't done it in 6 months, it's probably unlikely that you're going to do it ever. Like, let's be honest. Like, there's the assumptions that we have about, oh, we're probably going to do this, and then there's the reality of it's like the magic of magic of tidying up, or whatever that thing is. I don't know if you know. Have you heard about that book? It's a book about. Like,
I'm going to argue with you, because it really annoys me, because if you haven't worn it in 6 months, you're not going to wear it. I call BS. If I find the bloody thing, I'll wear it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, look, clothing is different.
So I'm playing devil's advocate.
Good.
Of going, there are people out there like me who go, yeah, sure, you're saying I haven't touched it in 6 months, but I do not want to, as a person who has no baby photos of myself, being me, youngest of 9 children, the thought of losing photos of my children because it's on that old laptop or wherever it is, makes me think twice about actually sending the laptop. So I'm just covering that off for those people who might come back with that argument. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a fair call. The thing is, if a laptop sits around for a long time and the battery is empty, that's degrading the battery. Batteries don't like to be very empty or very full. They kind of like to be somewhere in the middle. So if it's not regularly being charged and discharged, it's actually, it's a chemical reaction that's happening, and the quality degrades. So if you don't open it for many years, you may find that it won't start up again, ever. So I suggest that if you do have a laptop like that, you probably, and you think you might have some photos. I mean, it's so easy these days just to do a search, .jpeg or whatever photos formats you are, find all those files, drag and drop them literally onto a hard drive, and then forget about them. And then you know that photos, if they're the memories that you want, then of course memories are important. Or even better, drag and drop them into something like Google Photos, which gives you unlimited storage, right? So you know that, like, I've got thousands of photos in there. I don't even know what half of them are, but I don't care, because I know that if I ever want to feel nostalgic and go through them, that they're going to be there. So It could be actually a really great way, an opportunity to say, oh, I might have some photos there. Okay, great. Well, download Google Photos. And I don't, I'm not condoning one program of another, but that's just what I use. And then just drag it all into Google Photos, and then that you have all those images. So, and you can leave that running in the background. Like, even if you've got thousands of photos and a fairly slow internet connection, you could probably leave it running overnight and all of that will upload. And then you don't have to ever worry about it again because you can access them on your phone, on any other computer. And it's such a simple way of doing it.
Yeah. Okay, great. And back to the point at hand, I'm over my little hissy fit about the...
Yeah, cool. No, good that you did. I'm sure there's people thinking of that as well. So
years ago, but I taught in China, and I'd never forget. So it was part of my uni degree. I did a placement in China, and we had 55 kids in the class, and the whole back row were sharing glasses. So they'd pass their glasses.
You mean like these glasses?
Glasses.
Wow.
They're so far away, and and so it was just like, wow.
Yeah.
And so my point here is that some people have no idea how lucky we are through for no reason to have the opportunities that say the school system in Australia provides. And so this is about just providing opportunities to other people in schools around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if we don't know, like everyone lives in a bubble. That's how humans are. It's only when you step outside your bubble that you become aware of other things. Like if you were to go, and I'm happy to share photos, but like I've got photos of like teachers crossing raging rivers with bits of like reams of paper held above their head because they're trying to get to a classroom or to a student. Like imagine doing that here, right? Or getting a stick from the ground and tying your crappy little tiny screened mobile phone there just so you can squint at a lesson and try and learn. And the thing is, these people want to learn. They have a deep hunger for learning. They just don't have the opportunity, and we're doing our fellow humans a bit of a disservice if we don't help them in some way, because that person could be the one that invents, I don't know, like fusion energy or a cure for, I don't know, something in 15 years, or just that could be the person that prevents women from being abused by their husbands in their local community. Like whatever it is, if we don't help educate these people or help them educate themselves, then I don't know. Like I would much rather do that than get $200 on eBay for an old laptop. Like sure you could sell it, but you'd have to pay for shipping anyway. You get $200. You might feel good because you can buy yourself, I don't know, whatever $200 buys you, pair of shoes, and that's it. And then your joy goes down pretty quickly. But if you give something to others, not only do you have the initial joy, but you'll feel the journey along the way. So if you look at it purely as a sort of selfish thing and say, how much joy do I want from a certain activity? Selling a laptop will provide you a small amount of joy. Giving a laptop to a child or to somebody, a teacher in need, will provide you like small amounts of joy over a longer period of time. And the feelings that you'll have are satisfaction, contentment, like it's just a better thing to do. I mean, I would much rather do that, and obviously I'm a little bit biased because I want 1,000 laptops donated for these kids. But even if you just do it for yourself and you think, well, how much joy am I going to get? You'll have the journey. You'll see the journey of your laptop, and we're going to try and send photos of the kids, and you'll know that somewhere out there, somebody is learning something that they couldn't have learned if that wasn't for you. You've made a difference to somebody.
Yeah, really cool. Excellent. So once again, I just think it's an amazing initiative. We're going to be part of it. We're going to, I'm going to get the media involved. I'm going to contact my clients, my past clients, and see who's got some laptops sitting around. So any viewers today, you might have a laptop, but also prick your ears up to other people who are talking about maybe getting a new laptop at Christmas, or the tax breaks that we're getting at the moment to buy new hardware for your business.
Oh, really? You'll have to
Did you
tell
not
me
know
about
that?
that. No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, we can talk to you
Yeah,
about
okay.
offline. So there's lots of really good reasons why people are buying, IT equipment at the moment. So if you know friends who are doing that, or you're thinking of doing it yourself, then have a thought for how you could use your current laptops and shoot them through to Bart. Bart, thank you so much. I am so excited, and I'm really happy that I can play a very small part.
Thank you so much, Maureen. Yeah, it's been lovely, and thanks for all your support and for having me on your wonderful show. And I look forward to doing a cool bunch of stuff together later.
Excellent. So if you want to have any inquiries, it's admin@redwolfrosh.com.
Yeah.
And or you can just Google them.
.com.au, sorry, that's .com with an AU.
Good, I'm glad we fixed that one. .com.au, and or just Google Bart. I'm sure you'll find him there and the team, and they'll be most welcoming of your laptop.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Take care.
Here's to 1,000 laptops. Heading over to help people. Lovely to have you with us today. If you've got any spare laptops, please shoot them Bart's way.